Oh, hello there. Let's see if I can bring this a little closer. I got my first page penciled out. And I was just looking at this panel. There's a costume reference I was using. And I realized her head is too small. I posted this in the Instagram group. I'm like, give me a critique. And they were like, looks great. But I wish they had told me the head is too small. That's a little bit more in line right there. I'll show you kind of a cool trick that you can do. As long as you're in your rough pencils, because this is going to warp the line work, so you can't do this with finished pencils, but as long as you're in the rough stage, you can circle something and use warp. Kind of mess with it a little bit to resize some stuff. Like, I'm wondering if I made her chin come out too far. Or is her hand big enough? I think her hand is big enough. I also did this. This is one of the few times where I didn't really, I mean, I used a reference, but I basically did this straight off of the perspective grid. You can still see, I don't know if you can see my perspective grid lines, like this blue line is the vanishing point. But I feel like I got that right. And we're going to do some things with texture when we get to the bricks and stuff. My reference here was obviously the Alamo. Oh. I'm probably going to need a better reference for the horse. The horse was done with not much reference at all. I think it came out okay. Horses are tough, especially the legs. And it's also tough to get the rider on the horse without it looking wrong. And I've got so many lines here that I don't know which one's the right line anymore on there. So let's go ahead and, well, let's do this. Let's start by inking in the panel borders. And we're going to, instead of doing Rusty Nib, I'm going to start by doing what I did on the zine, which is I used a brush, an inking, like an actual like paintbrush, inking brush type brush. I just can't remember which one it was. Okay. Then my other issue is this lettering here is going to be tough to get right. Like this might be call for nib pen or something. I mean, you can keep changing over. So I'll see if I have it on the list here. I do not. It's gone. I'd used it before. Whoops. Okay, so we're gonna, I don't know if you can see my collection of brushes here. The one I want is off of the Rusty Nib collection. These are all the nib pens, Micro Nib, Drippy Fountain, Rube Pen, etc. Engravers. Then we have these brush pens over here. Or brush inkers. Classic brush liner rough, that's a possibility. And I think I might have used either the Mr. Legit, or it might have been Kniff brush number 8. Or round number 2. I think it was round number 2, actually, now that I think about it. The dry ass brush. The Sledger. Watery brush. Watery brushes might that's a possibility too. Alright, let's do this. We're gonna go over here and use Classic Brush Liner Rough and just see how it looks on this page. Starting with, this is supposed to be a night scene, so there's gonna be a big dark background. And we could end up trashing all of this and just redoing it. So let's put a ink 1. It's always worth experimenting. Alright, here's our guy. Well, I kind of like it so far. I'm kind of inspired by, have you seen Javier Milei? He's got these amazing sideburns. So I want my hero to have, this is Malvolio, to have the same kind of sideburns going on. Now, Javier Milei, he was a soccer player, he's a champion soccer player in Argentina. Okay. Now the way this cloak works, it's got a collar, a big oversized collar. Well, I'm not sure I like this line. Let's redo this line right here. Oh, that's all right. I'm gonna put a big core shadow right in the middle. And then one of his key, like, you need, no matter what kind of comics you're doing, whether you're doing superheroes or horror or fantasy or whatever else, every character needs a costume. Even, I know it comes from superhero costumes, but even if you're doing a Western, give your dude a costume. Makes them easy to recognize. Your audience will appreciate it. And in this case, this guy's signature costume is this necklace of teeth or spiky things, whatever it is. Okay, that arm is down. He's got a long sleeve shirt and he has these kind of like cowboy gauntlet things. And this one is magical. The right side. So this whole first page, you just get the idea that it's a Western, that we're starting out. We don't have any of the fantasy elements obvious yet, except if you pay attention, this strange gauntlet might be kind of a signifier. Now, we're eventually going to bring in all of these other characters, like these cactus guys and the ant guys. These are kind of my goblins. You know, they're kind of lower level monsters. The Lady of Sorrow Springs is a ghost. There's going to be these rat people, these ratlings also, that are a significant part of the setting. I'm in Ryan Benjamin's class right now, which will be tonight, and not sure what he's going to be talking about. It's different than any kind of class I've ever taken through Cubert School Online, but really excited to be part of it. There's the reins. All right. Boy, I love this. You know, if I like the swing on the Rusty Nib, this one has got twice the amount. And it is, I like the roughness, actually. The roughness is cool here. I gotta learn to control it a little bit better, obviously. All right. We want to imply that these legs are bent forward on the horse as he's riding the horse. And then one of our second clues that this is as much a fantasy story as a Western is I'm giving him very fantasy looking boots, like as if I was drawing a character in a Conan story or something. Should I get out a reference for this horse? I probably should. Let's take a look at it so far. You know what? I like the look of it so far. He wears kind of if you look at the other picture, you can see the full costume. It's kind of this shirt that goes down to the top of his thighs. He's going to wear 2 belts. One's a gun belt. He's going to have a gun. 6 guns, of course. He's got that necklace thing. He's got this sort of half cape poncho looking thing. I didn't draw the collar of this. This looks like it's longer hair, but it's just meant to be a collar. And then cowboy hat. And there's our gauntlet. Alright, tell you what, while we're doing this, let's turn the drawing guide off. Bring that back. I think I will be getting out a reference for the horse, and this is why. I think I can kind of draw the shape of a horse. Even the legs, like I kind of get it. The back legs are the hardest for me. The front legs I'm okay with. The chest muscles and all that stuff, I think I can kind of get. The neck. But when you look at a horse that's been kind of lathering and working all day, they get this kind of shiny, sweaty look to them, where you can really see the outlines of the muscles. And I don't know horse anatomy that well. Like, I'm gonna need references to go look that up and make sure I get that right. I know they kind of have these knobby knees. And in this case, we're going to hatch that in. We can kind of hide some of the details of the horse legs that are complex in a cloud of dust, as if he's moving very, you know, he's galloping, or he's not really galloping. Look at him. The horse is walking slowly, but there could still be a cloud of dust because it's a very dusty wasteland, you know what I mean? Oh, here's another thing about the eyes. I want to have, first of all, eyebrows, but there's a line underneath that I want to do for this guy. And it's going to be like, if you notice I did it here, I did this line here. So he's got the sideburns coming out this way. And then this line also. Might have gone just a bit too large on the hat. Also, I made him a little pencil necked here. Let's make him a little. This guy's a roughneck. He's been at it. He's strong like ox. All right. The horse's tail. Now I'm probably going to have to get some more, speaking of reference, desert plants will require reference. I'm making a new layer right now. I'm going to drop the classic liner brush for a second while I use my rusty nib. This new layer is bubbles. So we want to at least get in my narration boxes. Days on end I've ridden, drawn by legends of the mysterious Lady of Sorrow Springs. Rumors say she's a ghost that haunts the ruins nearby. All right. This is the rusty nib, so it's got little breaks in it. I'm cleaning up the breaks. I like the brokenness of it, but the roughness of it. But we need to fix those breaks if we want to do fills. And for narration box, we definitely want to do fills. Now, I haven't really decided yet. I'm just starting to do color comics. Like the very first one I did was Void Circuit. Well, the very first one I did was Tarzan, but I didn't color it. That was Jake Moore. The great Jake Moore, by the way. Check out his channel, Heavy Oscillators. But the first one I did on my own was Void Circuit, and then I also did the Dino Sorcerers in color, and I ended up really liking like the vintagey look of it. And I think I want to do that again. I'm learning some tricks. I'm expanding my repertoire. And it's always good to learn new things. Oh, I should not be doing that on the bubbles layer. Oh, I'm on the ink layer. Okay. Let's go back to our classic brush liner rough. How do we do this title, The Lady of Sorrow Springs? Well, you can see I penciled it in. I had this idea of maybe doing kind of like a playbill style of font, like an Old West font. Boy, it is hard to control your line weight here. Hang on. That was better. Let's say that we're going to have all the serifs kind of start at this line. When I say all the, what I mean is, like, you see these little flourishes at the bottom of the T, like they'll be on the H as well, and maybe even on the E and the L and stuff, you know, they're all going to be at that level. We want to get better at lettering as well. Man, who doesn't? Lettering is one of those skills that you got to get good at. It doesn't really matter how good your art looks like if your lettering is not good. It'll make everything else look bad. And I'm not saying I have good lettering. I think I have lettering that needs help, and I use fonts just like everybody else. But maybe I could really work at that. Straight right over into the E that time. All right. What's wrong with my T? My letter T is not looking good either. All right. This is just all for the letter E. If this doesn't look good, I do have a Playbill or Western style font that I could actually just font it in there and maybe trace the font. But I have a lot of hubris, and I'm thinking, oh, I could maybe make this look good by hand lettering it. Hand lettering is always, it's a flex. Like, it's like, if you can do it and make it look good, that's a flex. People go, oh yeah, wow, look at that, and you even hand lettered it. But if you can't do it, it's always kind of like, that's kind of embarrassing, kind of sucks. All right. It's not looking good. All right. Just as an experiment, this is my letters. Obviously, there's a sizing problem with that T. What if I took it, crushed it in a little bit? It's an option, but it's not a great one. All right, let's take let's add it with text. Caps lock, THE. And we're gonna make this one Calaboose. Well, look at that. What if I did it as T underscore, I mean lowercase TH, it's the same whether it's lowercase or uppercase. Okay, so if we do this, hang on, and we distort it, I'm just trying to figure out what it'd look like. Like, where did I go wrong? I obviously went wrong. Okay, let's do this. Let's go back to layer 2. The Lady of Sorrow Springs. So this is the lady. Where's the... Oh, I can't do it anymore because I messed it up. So, what's... The lady and what we'll do is we'll actually trace this. The lady, that's about right. Of, we're gonna leave of pretty small. All right, we need to... Springs, Springs. And we're gonna make it okay. Now let's take this whole thing, we're going to put it in uniform size, we're going to shrink it down just a little bit so it fits right on there. That's what it was supposed to look like, right there. The Lady of Sorrow Springs. So now that we kind of know what it's supposed to look like, we can make this, drop the opacity out, go back to our pencil layer, erase, and then for the purposes of authenticity, we're going to redo it with the brush liner. Why redo it after you've already got the font on there? Well, here's the thing. The font is aliased, and we distorted it. So we've already degraded it a little bit. But if we do the tracing, it'll fit together with the rest of the artwork. Like it'll, you know, you can see the same kind of strokes being used in the artwork. Then hopefully some of that magic mojo of lettering will wear off, and by osmosis of the hand, I will learn some lettering. Like, for example, I didn't realize that there were these back serifs on the E. Or how close... First of all, how wide is the middle prong of the E, and how these... Look how close these get. We could even do some really cool things, like maybe we want to make it a wood texture. You know? Alright, so we're going to be working on this for a while, I guess. Please like, share, and subscribe. I will have an update soon. Lady of Sorrow Springs launches, and it'll be ready before you know it, I hope. Let's take a look at what it looks like. Hang on. That's starting to look good. My horse looks a little ghostly. But other than that, we got a good start. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.